Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Dire team pick.
Gyrocopter!
Dire team pick.
Disruptor!
Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
All right, everybody, welcome back into the Shanghai Major American Qualifiers. We are here with one of the biggest games of today. It is the Power of Friendship versus Team Shazam. Two-game series, and the draft is now underway. Thank you so much for joining us here today on twitch.tv/Dota2. I'd like to quickly congratulate Team Archon as well as Digital Chaos for making it through on one side of the bracket. One group. In Group B, there's still three-ish teams vying for that top two spot. Power of Friendship and Shazam being two of them, and so we'll have to see how they do play out here in this two-game series. A 2-0 for either squad would be amazing and would go a long way for either team to be able to make it to the playoffs. So with a loss here, though, Power of Friendship, I'm sure, are going to be out of it as long as Complexity do play the way that they've been playing. My name is Mont. Joining me today, of course, is Purge. How the hell are you, Purge?
Pretty good. Excited to watch the game. POF has been doing fairly interesting strats. They've been trying out a bunch of different carries. Haven't quite hit the nail on the head with them, but it's always fun to watch different heroes be played.
They played Earth Spirit a couple of times for way2. Actually, they played it once. They played a mid Zeus twice. It did okay, but they had to play it because Bristleback, played by Swindlemelons, who actually destroyed them in lane, not once, but twice, with the help of Zfreak playing the Keeper of the Light. So that aggressive dual lane strategy actually paid dividends for them. And so Complexity now sitting at 3 points, tied with Power of Friendship as well as Shazam. Complexity going up against Not Today, who are almost guaranteed out at this point. And, well, this is a very important game. So we'll see who drafts what. And, I mean, I feel like these teams have to play against each other at some point in time, right? Like, they've had to have script.
Yeah, most likely. The teams do play each other very often, and you know, maybe sometimes they share a couple strats. That's been known to happen in the NA scene.
Really? I mean, I guess so. That's fair.
It's a joke, but
oh yeah, right, I got it. See, listen, I just came back from working out. I'm a little tired. I'm feeling good, but
10 seconds remaining.
My brain isn't working properly yet. I've not gotten back into the Dota feeling of things. Power of Friendship was in the Dota 2 Canada Cup. They won 1 game out of 3 that they played. They lost to Void Boys as well as Archon. They were not in the same group as Shazam. Shazam, I believe, is moving on to the playoffs. Complexity, I think, is also doing the same thing. So yeah, so a lot of these games, it's like we get to see them here, and then in a couple days we'll see them back again at Dota 2 Canada Cup, which I think is really cool. Like with updated strategies and. I mean, obviously there's a lot on the line here, but Canada Cup, anybody can win realistically. So that's the cool thing about it.
Yeah. That's all I have to say about that.
Okay. I feel you. All right, what do you have about the draft here, Purge?
Well,
Let's talk
Beastmaster
about it.
IO is a really interesting opening because neither of the two heroes really synergize super well together. So Power of Friendship basically has to say, well, what the hell are they going to pick with the IOs? It's kind of weird to not put them both in the first round, but if it's a weird hero that you're going to pair with it, then it kind of makes sense because it might confuse your opponents. They may do some target bans that are off target, and it could work out nicely in your favor. So kind of interesting that they did go Beastmaster and IO.
I like it because Beastmaster is very popular right now. He's gotten solo kills. Necrobook seems very strong. Pushing strategies is something we see a lot of.
Yeah, it is very strong, and it synergizes well against a lot of heroes. Just a general attack speed is good on so many great heroes. I think Beastmaster is very strong right now. He's maybe not OP, but there's nothing wrong with having Roar. Boars can last hit very well. The Aura scales you well, and then of course the vision that the Hawk provides. Beastmaster is just all around very well rounded.
5 seconds remaining.
Well, they're going to grab that. They're going to grab the IO for Shazam. They did ban out the Invoker and Enchantress. The Enchantress ban is going to become more common as we roll through things here. Death Prophet first round ban for Power of Friendship as well. The Lone Druid's banned out. So these are a lot of heroes we've seen recently. Undying too. Like all of these heroes that are banned, we've seen picked throughout this tournament. The Viper, especially even early on, was doing a great job. But Gyrocopter Disruptor, they pick up a tried and true carry. They pick up a Tiny, which is interesting. Is this a support Tiny? Is not the question because they already have their Gyrocopter in the safe lane.
It was something they did in the past. Some of their players, they were doing support Tiny for, I think it was them, might have been a different team, but I think I'm for some reason thinking of Secret, but they banned two heroes that IO would be pretty decent with, Viper as well as Lone Druid, and now they picked Tiny, so they basically blocked 3 of the heroes Shazam could have grabbed it with. But I don't know if this will be everything. There may still be some other hero that Shazam's thinking about.
5 seconds.
And when you pick up a hero, you want it to be good in lane with the IO. Maybe see it at dual and mid, and Tiny IO combo would have done that. It's not super common on the Radiant side. I actually see more Tiny IO's Dire side than I do on the Radiant, which is weird.
Yeah, it's a little safer to get runes on the Dire side, I think, rather than the Radiant. I would say that's maybe one thing. I mean, they don't have to go for a dual mid, but it has been pretty much the only way that I've seen IO played this patch. Now they grab another healer, so this means that the IO combo is going to be even stronger towards healing. Whoever IO is latched to, if he's bottling while using overcharge and Witch Doctor's healing him, he's going to get ridiculously healed. So there could be some really cool abuses going towards this. The only hard part is that Tiny's very good at bursting heroes, so IO may not be able to keep them alive and save them if that does happen.
Yeah, I mean, if he gets caught off guard, maybe the Blink Toss Avalanche combo, I will have a tough time, especially if he's the one being targeted. I'll have a tough time saving that hero. The Witch Doctor, I'm surprised is picked third. This is one of those heroes that at the beginning of yesterday was super commonly picked. Because I think a lot of people think he's that strong support. He kind of covers all bases. He has really good physical damage. His cask is very strong, and you mentioned his Voodoo Restoration. If he wants to be aggressive early game, he can go for the Maledict. And another hero that has been very popular as of recently is the Chen. We've seen Digital Chaos play it a lot. AUI 2000 and MSS have picked it up a couple of times, but they're not going to grab it for Shazam here. It's going to be Power of Friendship grabbing it. And will Ush play it, or will it be a way to Chen? We'll wait and see.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I feel like Chen isn't really an Ush hero. He's been playing very well on supports that have some snowball potential, like Shadow Shaman. His Shadow Shaman game didn't go amazing, but he had a really good Lion game the other day, and there's another hero that he played support that he played really amazing. But he's been looking pretty good as a 4 support. He gets almost every last hit. He finds times to farm, and he also does get his positioning correct and gets those ganks off. So his game sense is very clearly good. If he's playing Chen, he can't really do the same thing, and it requires a lot more practice to get into that.
That's and somebody said this yesterday. Those carries that play 1 or 2 positions and then they start, they transition to the support role. We've seen a lot of them recently. You've got the trendsetter in AUI 2000, and he's an amazing support player. Hell, he won TI5 for his squad pretty much. You have Fear, who's now playing 4 position. He's done a great job doing so. MSS has played carry, he's played mid, and he's played off lane, and he's now 4 position support. And Ush is a pretty solid carry player. He, I think, gets a lot of flack for the way he plays Dota for some of the mistakes he makes, but he's played a very good support role as as well. We even go, you talked about that Shadow Shaman game. I think if you look at it, he did get one of those solo kills. I mean, they were just getting crushed. I'm not sure that's necessarily his fault. They've done a really good job. All of those 1/2 players / 3 players that have transitioned into a 4 position support, I think have done a great job. I can't think of one that's done a pretty bad job in doing so.
Yeah, and they really do bring a lot of last hitting potential to their role. They already knew how to push efficiency to the max on their other cores when they were playing cores, so being able to do that in a support role can be pretty cool to watch, as we've seen already. Templar Assassin's the pick for Shazam. It's a decent combo with Io. It's not bad against Tiny, because Tiny's a bit weak on armor for a long time, and TA is also good at killing BKB heroes like Gyrocopters. So if TA gets a little ahead and he has an Io to back him up with attack speed, it can allow him to just 4-shot somebody really early in the game.
We saw, I think, Archon do it on the Monkeys Forever Templar Assassin. He was super far ahead, picked up an early Desolator, and then transitioned into a Moonshard, which I thought was kind of interesting. And then followed that up with a Chrysalis into a Daedalus, and he was simply too big at that point in time to bring down. So TA is definitely one of those heroes that if you get ahead, like you mentioned, you can just snowball out of control. You can take down heroes very quickly. Roche is also very good. However, it is the Radiant TA instead of the Dire TA. Dire TA allows you to get Roche maybe a little bit easier because you do have a little bit of advantage on that Dire side when it comes to Roshan. But it's going to be in the Radiant side, and we'll almost certainly see some jungle stacks as well as ancient stacks and level 2 side blades coming out for Ritu, who's probably playing the TA here.
Reserve time. 5
And
seconds.
Beastmaster can stack as well. Like, there's so many different ways they can stack, whether it's a dual lane mid or... Earthshaker's the pick here. Decent nuker here. You can do Echo Slam setups as well if IO gets a little too close to them. They've got pretty good burst damage here. They've got Disruptors and IO counter. It's a good draft out of Power of Friendship, but Shazam is going to grab the Necrophos, which makes things a lot scarier for Power of Friendship because they do have some heals through the Chen, but if somebody gets a little bit too low, man, they've got to worry about that really long buyback penalty as well as the respawn time.
Yeah, I think it's, 30 seconds added on at all levels, I believe, now with the Reaper Scythe. I might be wrong about that. It's the same number. I'm pretty sure it's 30 seconds. It's pretty ridiculous. Mason actually played it the other day, and his death pulse when he'd gotten Sadist early on in lane, you talked about him he went for, I think, the treads into the mech into, what was the item he picked up after that? Picked up another item, I think. Yeah, that's the one. He went for, and that was the build that you called, was the treads mech Aghanim Scepter. You get that early on. You have so much healing potential with Death Pulse. The team fights go your way, especially early on down the road. I don't know. I think this is a solid pick. There's no Dazzle to stop, to pop up the grave before you can get that Reaper Scythe off. I am kind of concerned as to where they're playing this Tiny. Ush is going to be playing it, and he is going for a core build, so it looks like that will be the case. As we talked about, bo2 going to be playing the Chen, it looks like.
Yeah, that was his. He used to play Chen in the past on some of his old teams, so he does get a support hero that only he had a lot of experience playing, and he will play support. Basically, how the team's been going. I think Ush can do just fine between mid and support. I think he's been doing a good job.
He had some trouble earlier with the Zeus, but that wasn't his fault. That was just a rough lane.
I really like this Gyrocopter set. I think it's one of my favorites.
I've never seen this one before.
It looks like a car. Really cool.
It looks wonky. It looks almost kid-like. JJ the Jet Plane or some BS. But it's pretty cool looking, actually, now that I think about it. I like the Ghost Ship one. That one's pretty cool. The pirate one. That one I didn't see before, and I saw it recently. Cool. It was nifty. All right.
Downside is none of it really works out with the Immortals.
Yeah, because, well, I mean, you could use the Immortal, but it looks kind of silly, right? The laser rocket thingy, like, it looks kind of silly. It's just like, oh, look at me. I've got a ghost ship, and then I'm shooting out lasers in my rockets.
POF will be able to grab both, or the bottom ring, and Tiny, and Radiant Team gets Templar Assassin's bounty. The typical Tiny versus TA matchup mid. A little scary for Tiny, but he will get some coverage.
They have an observer ward on opposite sides of the same side of the map. There's this one here at the top rune spot and this one here at the bottom rune spot. One for Radiant, one for Dire. Just to scout out any rotations coming in from that tri-lane down bottom for the Dire side, and then for the Radiant squad. They have some vision seeing if they have any rotations from this area, especially from the jungling Chen. But there's already a cast that will go through into Ush. Ritsu will get some refraction damage off and right-click. SPG will be able to right-click Ush twice off to use one of his pool tangos. And this lane will already start out in favor of the Templar Assassin, who I think probably has a better matchup here. I mean, sure, Avalanche is fine, but Ush, I don't think he's ever going to solo kill Ritsu. I don't think he's ever going to be able to outlast hit Ritsu, especially with refraction on. But here comes the Wild Wing. The tornado might be the X factor here.
Well, the positioning of it was not good enough because Woodchucker's going to go over here and stun this, and then it's going to all be over by Wildkin.
Yeah, Wild Wing, say later, your tornado's not going to go for very long, and it's now on cooldown for 56 seconds, so that kind of sucks. The creep wave is actually chasing after SVG. I was just trying to deny while this is happening. This is actually kind of good. They're going to pull the creep wave back. The other one's going to go straight forward. No, it actually pulls right into it, and so it's really well favored on Ritsu's cliff. Pretty nice.
Yeah, I think Shazam's really happy with how the laning stage is going so far. The Chen isn't really applying that much pressure. I think bo2 could have been a little bit more careful with where he placed that, hide in a tree or something. Very likely SVG was going to find it either way, but the dual lane here versus Tiny is not something that Tiny is very happy with.
I mean, he's already taking so much damage. He's going to have to use his self here. He's kind of close to his bottle. He needs to be very careful, though, because you can go down to those side blades if you're not ready. Of course, SVG could come in with a stun, but he looks like he's going to be stacking up. They're going to stack up for a third time already at 2 minutes in. They've stacked every time on the dot. And Beastfest was just going to go ahead and jungle, trying to get to level 2, so his offlane's not going the best. MJW is already level 3. That's the one thing that is a little bit disconcerting. Oh, that regen rune actually gets canceled, but it doesn't matter. He still has 4 tangos in the bank. Not a huge deal.
Yeah, the only lane that isn't going really well for Shazam is the Beastmaster here, who's just working on his first bit of experience in last hit by killing his large camp with a double bore. It's not the fastest farm here, but it does work a little bit. So the safe lane for POF is going quite well, but all the other lanes for Shazam are going extremely well, I think.
Yeah, 7 last hits for the Tiny to the 13 of Ritsu on the Templar Assassin. Ush will pick up his bottle, probably bottle crow it as well. It's not even 3 minutes. It'll take a long time for that crew to get back home. But Ush can at least stand toe-to-toe to a certain extent. He'll try to deny as best he possibly can and actually get some last hits, and he'll actually finally get a couple. bo2's not farming the best here. He does have a Wild Wing, so if they want to stack up, he actually can get a couple of last hits that way, but I think he just wants to use this Wild Wing to deny and to do some extra damage more than anything else.
Yeah, he's just trying to power level right now, and once he does get a couple more creeps, he could potentially set up a gank. He's going to have a Hellbear Smasher here. He's going to bring himself out a Clarity Push and maybe a boost of speed later. And with that, he will set up his first gank.
Yeah, I mean, with a Tiny, you do have Toss Avalanche, so you don't need like an Ensnare or something. It does help, but the extra damage coming in from the Hellbear Smasher Thunderclap will be nice to have.
Yeah, that's a good point. There's Avalanche, toss it back onto a creep. The creep uses its spell immediately afterwards. Yeah, he's going to get a Centaur here. It's going to be perfect for setting up a kill. The only thing he's missing is detection, though. If there's a meld level, I think they can get away.
Does he have one? Not yet, but he is going to be level 5 here. Will he skill at the refraction point? Not going to go for sideways. He's already got 2 points. I think he's just going to get refraction. And maybe. It'll be close. He's actually going to head top. bo2 has the smoke. Will he use it?
There's a rune coming, so maybe they're waiting for that first.
They're also just going to run straight at the Beastmaster. They thought about it anyway. They know that he's there. They pinged him out. Actually, that was SVG pinging it. They have to understand it. I was just going to go ahead and grab this rune. It is going to be a bounty, so we'll get some extra gold. Earthshaker gets a double damage, which is nice. Shazam is pretty low, but there's no Fisher coming up for MJW. If he had the mana for it and he had the cooldown, maybe they can go and get the kill, but that's not the case. Okay.
Yeah, they're definitely getting a late advantage out of the Necrolite. He's got 19 last hits versus the 6 of Earthshaker. He's a little bit ahead on experience, and at pretty much any moment he could potentially just kill the Earthshaker as well.
I think he's finally getting a good lane, though. 32 last hits. He's level 5. He's got his phase. He's got a Basilius. Akil is going to come out soon. He's not doing too bad. I mean, well,
after those Bristol games, he's got to be so happy about that. Did you watch those games? Or
oh, yeah. I was guessing.
Yeah, those games were so rough for snaking.
That Terrorblade game, I'm like, well, that sucks. He actually didn't do that poorly in lane, but he just got too far behind because the other lanes did so well for complexity.
Braxton now up to level 3 here. So he's doing alright. Earthshaker on the other side's almost 5. But not getting nearly as much farm as Mason is.
His 8 last hits. And you can see Shazam's Mason is pretty happy with treads. He'll probably go for that mech. No gank top. There they go, finally. bo2 and Mario will head towards that mid lane and see if they can pick up Ritsu.
I saw the smoke with the Hawk
Oh,
positioning
God.
for that. Brax literally, he wasn't even setting that up to protect himself. He was just watching to see where the smoke would come. SVG's in a place to break it.
Ritsu booms back. Avalanche toss. They're going to break out the refraction, and Ritsu might go down here. The coconut will fly, test of faith, and there's going to be the call down. Stakey wants more. They want blood. There's the kinetic field. There's the rocket barrage. Easy pick off. And somehow, even with the Hawk scanning that out, they still get 2 kills with a great rotation again at level 6 from a Gyrocopter, which is so very common now. That'll provide them 2 quick kills, including the first blood, which will go the way of the Shen.
Yeah, it's always good to do little rotations like that. That's one of the nicest things about Gyro as a carry is that he can actually just run up a lane and gank like that. You know, they saw the gank coming. They really shouldn't have gone caught there, but a little bit of glimpse action and you're just in trouble.
Like, Ritsu was backing up like he knew it was coming, but he's like, there's no way I'm going to die in this position. I have SVG. That's strange.
Yeah, they were too cocky about that. The only way that they were going to come was from the left side, so all they had to do is maybe set SVG to the left side or maybe hide him in this little clump here. That way, when they broke here, that he would see them immediately and be able to juke. But letting Ritsu go back was a big mistake. It should have been him that died only. That would have been much better.
Hush has a haste rune, but there is a ward that will spot it. It actually just died. They did see him going down. Mario's going to get gassed up. They have the axes coming through. The Borslow will come out next. Comes back onto SVG. They should be able to still take him down as Ritu's on his way. Or not. They like, okay, well, maybe POF are going to come with Maid Suit and Snaking, and they're very afraid of that, and I think that's fair.
Yeah, they wouldn't have been able to catch him. It would have taken way too long for them to catch up and secure that kill. Instead, they'll take the top tower. The Boars will try to slow this down, but unlikely it'll work.
What's Mason doing down bottom? Still has the treads. He's bought something on the way. It's the headdress. No surprise there. It is going to be that mech, so he'll be the mech carrier for his squad. Here comes the tier 1 tower. In the top lane. It's about to fall. Snaking will try to time this last hit. He does get it. This is going to give some more room for Ush as they rotated a couple heroes up. They've also had Ritsu in the jungle, who's now got his treads. Ush, what does he have? Just bottle, point blade, stout shield, and a couple of boots of speed. So he's actually not that far back when you look at it on net worth. He's not that far back of the Team Templar Assassin, and in fact, he's not that far back of Mason either. That kill really helped out in the beginning of the game.
So he's about 900 gold, but he will gank with this haste streak, see if he can get a kill.
Toss in. Echo Slam will fly. They get the Death Pulse off, and here's going to be the overcharge. They don't have level 6. MSS going to work. No Fisher coming through. Doesn't have the mana for it. They have to back. The Reapers will go. Ush will stay alive, however. Glimpse away will come out. Kinetic Field coming through. And they actually have to just get out immediately. No TP for Ush. He's about to fall. Death Pulse not in range. That haste ring will keep him alive. They just didn't have the mana for MJW. He doesn't have his soul ring yet. They try to get that gank going too quickly. They won't be able to get a successful kill. And really good overcharge coming out from... I mean, it's impossible to get a Death Pulse and overcharge Mason on that Necrophos, it feels like.
Yeah, killing him was just simply not going to happen. And maybe they could have bottled the Tiny a bit more so you could fissure afterwards, but as soon as the tether came out on the Wisp, then that was it. Necro was going to live due to the heals that you get between the two.
Dire's bottom tower.
Yeah, that seems impossible to deal with. They have to have a lot more damage to be able to chew through all of that healing. That's fine. I mean, they went for it. They didn't quite get the kill. Ush will waste a little bit of time and going for that, but he's up to 1,000 gold now. I think he might just go for Boots of Speed, Bottle, into Blink, which is not an uncommon build. I'm fine with it.
And Ritsu in the mid lane, still getting a lot of last hits, has been working on his Ancients a bit, but when there's free creeps in the mid lane, you might as well take them.
Yeah, these are pretty low, actually. He's going to head back up here. There is no Dire Observer Ward, so they have no idea that this is happening. They have to imagine the Ancients are being taken, but there's... Maybe this Smoke Tank will actually target Ritsu. He's going to head bottom, it looks like, though, instead. So allow Ritsu to keep farming, but they really want to kill Mason. And MSS still not level 6, so they don't have the relocate out, but they do have the Death Pulse. It's maxed out. He has the Sadist as well. Who will they find first? MSS, he's going to walk right up. They broke the smoke. Did MSS see it? I don't think so. That's the wrong button. And there's going to be a Chen Army walking out. And, well, he's going to get caught. He's going to tether away, and then he comes back. Kinetic Field will probably find next. They actually don't even need it. They just thunderclap. There's a TP coming in, but SVG is a little late to the party, although the cask would have been very good against the creep. Snaking wants to stay. Another TP going through. Mason's actually going to get out. Shazam. SVG is going to dodge that call down. They're going to walk in. And MJW will find the kill with the snaking. Rocket Barrage getting it done. Still, they get 2 supports. They don't get the big prize. And of course, Mason. But nonetheless, they still get 2 kills. And they might even get this tower bottom.
I mean, their map movements as POF is they're really good right now. They're getting kills all over the place. They're pressuring towers. They're getting smoke ganks off. Whereas Shazam is playing pretty passive. They had some really good laning stage, and they saved Necro from that one gank, but they haven't got any kills on the board, and that's really going to start impacting things soon. Once POF has mech and other heals, like the Chen ulti, like they already have, like it's gonna be even harder for Shazam to score kills. They've got to be very careful and get some kills on the board.
What does the Chen have? Only just arcanes. Does he have something flying out? Almost, actually, 2 components of his mech, and he's what? 600 gold away from having that bad boy. Jesus.
Very close. That's when things get really dangerous for them. And this is going to open up some space for Brax on the top lane. He's going to be getting kind of close to his Necro one, so maybe they have to be worried about somebody dying up there. They get a little close. But
He went Iron
now
Town,
they
by the
push
way.
mid. Yeah, he was jungling a lot, I think. Gyro is just too hard to lane against for a lot of offlane heroes, so just a little easier just to jungle the large camp repeatedly.
The glyph will come through. Can Ritsu get the Sinai? Ush is sitting very close, and it will not be last hit. It'll be taken just by the Dire Squad. There's a couple more heroes in the vicinity. Brax has got his Roar. He's level 7. He's got his level 4 Bora as well, which will do some damage if he can get too off in a fight. They check the Ancient Stack. It's not there because it's been cleared up by Ritsu, who now has 1 Mithril Hammer. Ush just picked up a Blink Dagger, so this is going to get a little bit easier. They'll be able to get a couple of kills with this. It'll fly out here, and he'll probably drop, I don't know, something. And
I'm curious to see him not getting at least like a bracer first. Seems like almost every time he does buy items like that to start things off, but he's just gonna rely on his bottle and his wand, I guess, for his kills.
MJW's up to 1,000 gold, Soul Ring as well as Tranquils, so he's getting a little closer to his Blink Dagger, not quite there yet. And I think maybe POF should maybe set something up here pretty soon. I don't think they should let Ritsu continue to farm freely because that Desolator is going to come out. It's going to do a lot of damage. They do have Mason with that mech now, so if they want to try something, they might be able to do so. They're a little bit behind, but do they just keep farming for Shazam, or do you think they make something happen? What do you think?
I think they need to make something happen. They've got Beastmaster. They could do Beastmaster Necro +1. Destructor. Problem is, Witch Doctor is only 4. It doesn't have his ulti. If he had ulti, they could solo kill any. Well, not solo, but they could triple gank any hero in the game.
Well, Witch Doctor is struggling for levels. He's the lowest in net worth. He's the lowest in levels as well. Everyone else is almost at their level 6 here, including the Aya, who's going to grab it from this next wave in the top area. Mario's going to grab his level 6 mid. He has 1,000 gold. He'll build towards that Arcanes, I imagine. Could also just, I mean, he'll build towards the Aether Lens a little bit later on down the road once he gets the cloak. But they see him with the Hawk. They want to kill him. He's sitting on a Sentry Ward, which is interesting. He knows that the Hawk is there, but he doesn't actually find it. Yeah.
Top tower's gonna go down here. Radiant's kind of walking around saying like, what do we do? It's very difficult to fight into a Gyrocopter and a Chen. Like, Gyro doesn't really need BKB because he's got an extra 450 HP heal from Chen and a sendback if things get really scary. And they have the offensive reach of a Tiny. So how do they even engage these fights? It's very scary for Shazam right now. Literally all they can do is get pickoffs. They don't have the teamfight heroes that POF have.
And Shazam might get caught. There's a pincer movement coming, and Ush is going to find Brax. There's going to be the avalanche to toss back. Maybe they don't even need it. He's going to get Rocket Barrage down by staking. The killing spree will come through, and that's even more farm that he really doesn't need. He's already doing well for himself, and that is also the mech that Chen gets. He actually, I don't even think was involved in that kill, but he had the money nonetheless to grab that. And now they're just going to start pushing and saying, listen, you can try to fight us, but we have the mech. We're very strong. They do have the Desolator for the Templar Assassin. That might be something, but is it going to be enough?
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And another tower is gonna fall. Like, they're gonna be able to trade one. This tier 1 top might die, but
Dire's top tower is under attack.
that's the only advantage that they're gonna have here.
MJW is about to get his blank too after this tower. He's got it. Dear Lord.
Radiant's middle tower has
Witch
fallen.
Doctor does pick up 6 from that though, so that's one good advantage. Mech on both sides. Necros has Death Pulse, of course, and they've got Io, so they do have some good team fight for just their general sustain. The burst damage from POF is good, but not obscene, so perhaps they can win some fights through just some crazy heals if POF does focus the wrong person.
POF will get more farm. I think this is Sanj coming out. Yeah, Sanj is done for snaking. SMY is there. Down bottom, Mason might walk close to this ward. He'll get spotted here right now. And they're not going to go for him, though. He's already going to head back to the base. Actually, he's going to the jungle. This is the wrong way.
He's got a point booster coming. He's actually quite tanky right now. They're going to see the Wisp.
Going to Clemson back. Call down's going to go. Clemson comes out now. He'll take the first hit. Static Storm will fly through. He does have that mech still.
Wisp is just dead.
They just don't do any damage. Wisp gets blown up by Snaking. The Roar's up on him, and they're going to try to focus him down. They get the Death Ward up, and now they have the Hand of God, and Snaking is actually in trouble. He's got the mech coming through from Chen. Way2 gets there just in time, and now they have to back away. They've lost 2. Snaking did take a lot of damage. Ush will blink it. He's got the avalanche and 2. He can get a toss back if he can get close enough. There's the avalanche coming through. Brax is going to get tossed up in the air, and he's in trouble. Fisher comes out. Last right click from Snaking. He gets it with a rocket punch. They'll find Ray 2. He's going to meld in the deck as well. The kinetic field coming through, but they get the Hellbear Smasher and the Conqueror Stomp. Tosses up, and they find 3. Actually, for when it's all said and done, it's 9-0 for Power of Friendship, and they are starting to just dismantle Shazam.
Yeah, I think we can maybe blame Io for that one. He should have waited for the glimpse, because as soon as they had vision of Necro, they were going to glimpse him, and then he was going to lose Tether, and then Wisp is worthless as a hero. He should have stayed hidden. Maybe waited to see if they got vision of Necro. I think maybe they just didn't. They thought maybe he didn't have board vision there, and maybe if they walked away, they could get out. But because of the glimpse, he had to relocate and sacrifice himself, and instead it turned into 3 heroes dying. So that was where Shazam needed to not get killed or get some kills, and they got neither. So now POF gets further advantage, they get Roshan, and this is going to make them even harder to team fight against.
And Seiki actually took a lot of damage there. The Hand of God came out at the perfect time from Wei2. He has the mech as well. You could argue that he would have died if there was no Chen there, but then again, this game would be completely different. And so they'll pick up the Aegis for Tiny. He has now a point booster and the inevitable build towards an Aghanim Scepter. Okay, man. I mean, like, there's what, a 7,500 net worth lead? It feels like it's more than that. So what do you have to do? Mason's clearly not done anything. He's trying to get an Axe. I guess you just would need one team fight and a good Necro ulti. And then on the back end of that, have the TA just go wild with the Desolator?
Yeah, picking somebody up right at the start would be ideal. Either Chendine or Shaker or Disruptor is who they should aim for, and then after that they just have to do kiting and a little bit of sustain with heals over the 2 other cores like Tiny and Jaro. So picking up one of the supports is definitely what they need to do.
It's harder to do than you might think. Easier said than done, if you will, to use a cliche. What is this? There's still no Necrobook on Brax, actually. I thought he would have it by now. It's not like he's been, farming poorly. He has the staff of Wizardry and the Built of Strength, but...
Like, a lot of Beastmasters that we've seen earlier today had about 50 CS around 10 minutes. Because it actually laned quite well. But when you're against a Jaro, which is so difficult, a Jaro and a Disruptor, like, it doesn't matter what your position is. He's going to send you back, and Jaro's going to run you down with Rocket Barrage. So he just spent a lot of time jungling at this large camp next to his offlane, and it doesn't give you that much farm.
Dire's bottom tower is
That's
under
true.
attack.
And is he only just sitting there and, like, trying to X down the creep wave when it comes? Like, is he just sitting at this large camp? Is he not heading towards the actual jungle?
He was farming it with his spores and stuff, but when you're level 1, you actually don't farm it that rapidly. The level 1 boar only does, like, what, 10 damage or something? 15 damage?
Not great.
It takes forever to kill those things. Now he's okay because he's got more levels, but those early levels were really bad.
Ritsu gonna walk out. He's gonna side trap Snaking. They still have the Hand of God. They're trying to force something out. The Rocket Barrage will go. Melt Strike flies. Call down's up. And Ritsu might be in trouble. They get the Sans proc to maim. And Ritsu actually doesn't have a refraction for 5, but he does pop up the meld. Snaking knows that he's here, but there's reinforcements on the way. There's the Kinetic Field, the Static Storm, and Ritsu is in a lot of trouble. Rocket Barrage could go. They're actually just gonna kill him with the Fissure with MGW jumping in. They recall the creeps. They didn't even need them. And Ritsu just throws his life away by trying to get that kill when there's already a tier 1 tower for TPs to come through pretty easily.
Definitely not a good plan. Maybe if you had Blink, that would be okay, but without Blink, it's too dangerous. If they just find where he is like that, then they put the damage on, he goes down.
He was not expecting those rotations. There's almost a couple of big items coming the way. The Necro one is now done. There's almost an Axe for Mason. Ritsu went down and he had 2,000 gold. He might have been close to a blink, but here comes the high ground push. They have the Aegis. They have the Tiny now with almost an Aghanim Scepter. They still have the Hand of God. They still have the mech. And they're going to try to push this down within a couple of moments here, and they'll try to force out a couple of TPs. They have the buyback on Ritsu. They clearly do not want to use it. He's going to respawn in 7 seconds. Mason might look for some sort of Reaper's Scythe. He's actually going to not pick up the Axe, get his Soul Booster instead. Ush will toss up one of the Hellbursts to get this 2-3 even lower. They'll mech up some of the creeps. They'll maybe back them off. Since our Conqueror will fall. Cast will bounce through. They have the glyph. They're going to pop the call down. Tether slow, or Tether move speed rather, will get him out. The glimpse back in. Static Storm not going. He's on cooldown for another 17 seconds. Snaking now gets roared up. Can they bring him down? They're going to pop the Hand of God. Now they get the Reaper's Scythe off. He's dead for 83. They lose their tier 3 tower, but they will grab a kill and the hold. And that's a mega kill spree going for the Necrophos. They'll all TP back now. Power Friendship are not safe here. Witsu doesn't have a TP, but he actually might make it away.
And they actually aren't going for Ags on Necro. It looks like he's going for either a Bloodstone or for Octarine Core. I'm going to guess it's going to be Octarine Core, just because if they can survive the initial damage or the alpha from POF, then he can keep his whole team alive, basically by being the focus. And that's exactly what happened in that fight. I think he might even want to pick up a Cloak, just because of the general 15% magic resistance against what POF throws out is going to stop a huge amount of their damage. So I would definitely get a Cloak here, but the Wisp alone easily helped keep him alive. And as if he did take all that damage, they can turn things around like that and get a gyro kill.
Yeah, snaking a little bit out of position. No BKB, obviously, and he does have a full SNY, but that clearly wasn't enough. The Hand of God, I think, came through, but he just took too much. I think the mech was on cooldown, maybe. I might be wrong about that. They mech'd up, I think, a couple of creeps. I might be wrong about that, actually.
I think either way he was going to be in trouble. He had a 13 charge 1 when he got ultied, but I didn't quite anticipate the full damage. But the roar and a couple right clicks and some nukes and he goes down.
This game is certainly not over, not by a long shot. Shazam are still okay because of, Mason having that Reaper Scythe, because of the healing potential that he has and the tankiness that'll have now from the Octarine core coming through. I imagine it will be that. So it'll probably be another Roche before we see something happen, I think.
See if we see some creeps die. Mason's going to split push a little bit. Again, they can pretty much TP anywhere they need to if the Radiant heroes do find a kill. But it looks like they're just kind of farming. Beastmaster will move across the map. Maybe he can find a kill with Roar, but I think because they're so far behind, that was their first kill of the game, by the way.
Yeah.
Because of that, it's very scary right now.
It's tough.
Won't get D-ward if the sentry dies in 10 seconds. They might get spotted, though.
Hush, can he find MSS? He didn't get vision, and he's going to TP out. They're not going to find him. They're going to find nobody, in fact. They all TP, all three of them away at the same time. Hush is looking in the wrong spot. Nicely done. That split push has got a lot of work done for Shazam to get some extra gold. All right.
With the eggs up on Tiny now, he's decent against Shazam, but not that amazing. It's actually kind of a bad DPS Tiny game. Tiny is not very good versus TA. He's not that good against Necro. You kind of need a single target nuker or a single target DPS hero to deal with those two heroes, and Tiny is not that. He's more of like an AoE cleave kind of hero. So he's got the Avalanche and the toss to do some burst damage, but his items after that aren't going to scale him very well.
The one thing I do like about Shazam is they have the Beastmaster, and he can provide a lot of vision, making a lot of these movements a little bit easier for them. Just to have vision of maybe a smoke, have vision of near the towers, have vision of Roche. As I said that, though, the Hawk actually died to the tower in mid, so he kind of missmicroed there. But Brax is now at a Necro 2. He's getting closer to his Necro 3. That item is pretty huge, regardless of time in the game.
Yep. Any mana is always good. There's a lot of heroes that really hard counters. So gem on Mario, there is. He's got a gem up. He's going to look around for all the observer wards on the Radiant team. In fact, there aren't very many up right now.
Just have the Hawk, really, and the one observer ward in the jungle here. I think that's it. This will sort of keep Ritsu safe. He has a blink dagger now, so he can actually blink away if he gets in some trouble. With his refraction up, assuming he doesn't get stunned and locked down. We will not see another fight probably until the Aegis is back up in Power of Friendship's hands, unless there might be some sort of Smoke of Deceit gang for Shazam. They're still down 7,500 net worth, so, smoking up and looking for a kill is a bit ballsy. They will grab a tier 1 tower mid, whether it's denied or it's going to get taken down by the Necro units, and it looks like it actually might get denied here. Nope, just kidding. Beastmaster Necro Archer. He actually timed that perfectly with all three of his creeps. That was pretty sick.
Those Necro kills are so important. They're worth so much gold.
Is it like 300? No, maybe I'm wrong.
No, 200 at Necro 3, but they give, I think, 150 maybe at Necro 2.
Okay.
Quite sure.
I'm mistaking that in the bear. The bear's a little bit more important.
Yeah, it's quite a big difference.
Staking has an ultimate orb. The beginnings of a Scotty, perhaps? Because I don't think you go... You already have an SMY. There's no reason to go Manta style. At least I don't think so.
You can justify a Manta, I think, against a TA because you can dodge his attacks with it, or you can break his refraction faster. Not that I guess you need it that much against Barrage. I think you might be right. Just maybe Lincoln's actually.
Yeah, I thought about that too.
BKB doesn't do that much this game. I think a Lincoln's is pretty likely. They don't have that many disables on Shazam. It's a Roar. It's a Reaper Scythe. Okay. Also, Scotty is good. Just lots of generic stats, HP, damage, int. All of that stuff is pretty nice to have. The SNY Scotty build is actually a pretty old staple now for at least a year or so.
Roche is up, by the way. The Hawk will scout it out. So will the Wild Wing Ripper. This is something I've seen a lot of. Like, there's like a creep, a Helm of the Dominator creep. Like, so there's traps. Like, in almost every game I've seen, people have known when Roche is up as soon as it spawns. And by the way, this was a very fast spawn, an 8-minute spawn. So this Aegis will allow them to go further. They'll get the Assault Cuirass here pretty soon. They don't have the recipe or the plate mail, but that's not too far away. And will it be the Ush Aegis or the Snake King Aegis? He doesn't have room with a double ultimate orb. One of these two, I imagine.
Dire's top tower.
I'm not sure actually who it's gonna go to. We'll see. Both have their value. It will be Gyrocopter. Gyro is gonna be the one hitting the buildings, I guess, even though Tiny kind of does it better. But Tiny has more offense potential that's more bursty, you know, like you jump in and toss somebody back. So if he's hitting buildings, he won't be able to do that. So by giving it to Gyro, Gyro can sit in the front, hit the buildings, maybe die, but hopefully they should be able to get a Rax on this push since they did mess the last one up just a little bit.
I mean, they didn't even get a team fight ability off. There was no Echo Slam, there was no Static Storm. Snaky threw up the call down, but it missed on everybody except for one of the heroes. Yep. But look at this damage going into the range Rax, and that's going to be permanent damage. And look at this thwack coming out from Ush, going to work. There's going to be the side trap, a blink away. They'll get the range Rax. There's going to be the cast coming through. No Reapers coming out. The Fisher will lock them back in. Cast bounces back again. Another Death Pulse. Snaky actually kind of in trouble. They don't want to use the Reapers on that first death because it's not going to matter.
Pretty much everybody on the raiding team bought BKBs here as well.
Yeah, there's a couple of them. Roar's about to go out, maybe. Snaking's gonna call down, gonna go. There's the mech as well. Hand of God not used just yet. They get the Aegis down, and Ush is looking to fight, but here's the BKB for Ritsu. Ush is gonna back away. He's got Blink. There's the Reaper sight, and he'll keep him alive just in time. 65 seconds though. Echo Slam on to 3. Statics from Ritsu in trouble. Rocket Prize will go. He doesn't have buyback. He just bought the BKB, and it's time to back away. Great Echo. If Ush was alive, they could push. The Death Pulse, it's gonna do some work against Snaking, but he will survive. It's still actually following him. That's pretty funny, but eventually... Oh, jumping in, MGW, gonna get sent back with the Enchant Totem. Nicely done. No follow coming through now, and Mario will be able to TP away as well. The only one still here on the Radiant side of the map is Snaking. He's still just running away from this Death Pulse, and he should be okay, I think.
Pretty good defense from Shazam there, and a good idea to go for BKBs. BKBs is really just an item that allows you to gain gold by winning team fights. And if they didn't have those BKBs, they would have lost a lot of HP, maybe even their lives, while they killed Gyro for the first time. And it also bought them the ability to just chase after the Tiny and use Reaper Scythe on him instead. He didn't get the long cooldown due to the nice heal from the Chen, but that's not really the way you want to use that. It's better to keep people alive than it is to just say, oh, you'll respawn 30 seconds faster. Shazam has been able to keep their farm up. They've been able to keep themselves in the game despite being on the defense against POF and not having all of these tower advantages. So they could still win this. They only lost a range barracks there. They defended, they burned through an Aegis, and this is going to look good for Shazam fans from here on out. Yeah, I mean, Rage Rex at this point is really nothing. They pick up the BKB for Ritsu. He still has the Desolator. They could use some more damage from him. Mason is getting closer and closer to that Octarine. He did stop off for that Black King bar. They're going to smoke up, and I like this play. The Assault Cuirass is done for the Tiny. He just bought that. But if they get a couple of kills here, they can turn this into a couple of towers. Obviously, they can't, can't run down mid and take down a tier 3 just yet. There's a tier 2 there still. But they'll look for something. They're going to head into the lane first. Maybe have somebody clear out the creep wave quickly. And then for something, they don't want to go behind this tier 1 tower. First of all, they need to kind of run through the river. I mean... Yeah, that's the problem. If that tier 1 tower, too. These towers were gone, then they could actually just run through here. But instead, they have to run up the cliff, and they can't do that. Like, it's too dangerous. Yeah, they do not want to go uphill. There's no ward vision there. Maybe if they had a Hawk, but that'll get killed because that's where POF are standing. So the smoke is about to end. Not that it matters. They don't see them. Power Friendship are getting scouted by this Radiant ward. They'll walk up high ground. JW's going to blink up. Ush will do the same. Force forward as well. He's looking for Braxton. Looks like he's found him. The glimpse back in. They'll get the vision, kinetic field, and they'll just get an easy kill. Relocate. That's not good. I think they noticed that. And MSS is... Did he relocate from somewhere else? I believe he did. So he might actually be okay. Oh, no, he didn't. He relocated right here. I don't know what happened. Yeah, I think he was trying to save Brax, and then he just died.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Well, that's unfortunate.
That was peculiar. Now they're dead for 40 seconds, so now POF can just do the push anyways. So it was a good hold, except they're still going to lose this bottom racks probably. How unfortunate.
Radiant's bottom barracks.
It's not even back.
It's just a melee, but very rapidly dies, and they're not done yet, I guess. They're going to keep going. And they're going to go straight towards mid. Seconds. No tier 2 tower. They want to keep putting on the pressure, and this tower is dropping quickly from Snaking with the Scotty, with this SMY. He's also building a BKB next as well. Us is going to thwack it down, that giant-ass tree. He's got his level 3 grow. He's got the Assault Cuirass, and this melee Rax almost goes down. They were looking for Reapers, it looks like, from Mason. He actually used the animation and got canceled by the time he blinked out. Death Pulse will go through Hand of God to keep up the creeps. The Ancient Grand of Gold, and they want to keep him alive. They're going to re-summon him with the Test of Faith, or yes. And that'll be that. They get the tier 3 tower and a full set of racks. got really good auras for pushing the Thunderhide as well as the Hellbear Smasher. They both give attack speed auras, and the Thunderhide giving damage auras. So when Tiny and Gyro are up there hitting buildings, they just die so rapidly, despite them focusing mostly on tank items.
Invisibility.
Well, I was looking kind of okay at that last defense, but that loss of Rax in the tier 3 tower especially hurts them a little bit. They're still a tier 2 tower top lane, so they can't quite get Megas just yet. The Aegis is gone for staking. Roche will be up who knows when. I don't think it's going to be another 8-minute respawn. Brax is smoked up along with 2 other, Ritsu and SVG. They can relocate in Mason with the Io as he has respawned. They'll get up a ward here on the high ground. Hand of God will fly, the range creep. Not gonna scout anything out. Meanwhile, Usher jumped on. There's gonna be the roar, the death ward as well. He's got the AC. They do drop down that static storm. Echo Slam comes in, and he's gonna get him onto 2. Braxage. They just blow off that Witch Doctor. Here's Ritsu jumping in with Mason as well. He's got that Reaper Sight, but Staking now has the BKB popped up. Buyback motion immediately. Ritsu gets Rocket Barrage down to death. And 3 dead. They'll back away. They bring out somebody else with MSS. Actually, they brought Mason back down to the bottom lane. That sucks. That is a good fight for Shazam.
It looked okay at the start. They were just, I think there was a Craggy exterior on the TA or something. Up the BKB a little bit too late, and the Craggy stunned him for like 2 seconds right when they went in. And if it wasn't for that, they would have killed Ush before Ush got his combo off, and then Brax would have lived. Or maybe contributed a bit more, maybe spawned some more disablers or something. Who knows? That definitely could have gone better though.
They're gonna lose the Rax out of it. Another set. Again, they can't get that Rax top. They have to get the tier 2 first. But I don't think they're really concerned about it. They're actually not going to go for the range Rax. They're like, okay, let's not force anything. The Beastmaster is about to respawn. They can buy back in the TA probably, or we don't know, I think what they're probably saying. But they're more than happy with just getting a melee Rax. And MGW will pick up a Mystic Staff, or whatever item he's picking up next. That's frightening.
Probably a Hex. That's one of the best counters against BKB. If you initiate first and you stun them and then chain stun them afterwards. It's one of the best ways to deal with magic immunity. So I would expect it's going to be a Hex. Shivas isn't terrible either due to the fact that TA can like 4-shot Earthshaker right now, but the Hex doesn't, or the Shivas doesn't really help you against Necrophos, so I think it's much more likely that he goes for Hex.
I'm down with that. It's not often you see an offline Earthshaker with a Hex, but it's not like he has the most farm blink for staff. It's not the most incredible farm in the world. He's actually right below the Chen. The Chen has done a great job keeping up Guardian Greaves and Agative Scepter, now Cloak for whatever else he wants. They'll wait for Roche, which, again, we don't know when it will respawn. I think it came up on the side here, but I didn't actually read the timing for it. But POF will get an Aegis, and at that point, they're going to push down top. They're going to grab a tier 2. They can push down mid, grab this range Rax, and the game is probably over at that point.
Mason might accidentally make a Shivas or an Octarine Coral too. It makes
he makes the Shivas.
But he had the recipe and he had the Mystic Staff, which makes the Octarine, so I was a little unsure. But that picked up, it will reduce the attack speed of his opponents a bit. It'll be pretty good against Gyro and Tiny, just because their overall damage numbers aren't that high. They have very, very good attack speed and medium damage right now on both of them.
I like the pickup. I think it's better than Octarine. And
I agree, yeah. It's going to be a lot better for the team fight. If you Shivas guard the whole team and they're slowed by 40, that alone is going to do a lot.
I feel like they need a lot more, though. I mean, the Shivas is good. It's a good start. They have to get this BKB also lowered on staking. Like, you saw in that last fight, Mason's like, I really want to do damage and Reaper Sight to you.
Yeah.
But he didn't have any damage done to him, and he couldn't Reaper Sight them if he wanted to, which was a bit unfortunate.
That's basically what happens when you delay your BKB until your 3rd item. You get to the stage in the game if you're winning, and you're like, oh, now I'm going to start going magic and really forcing you to try late game fights.
It's got to be so obnoxious to deal with. God, can't even think about it. He's also got to have a Satanic, too, by the way. His Reaver is almost done. It's over here. Oh God, Ritsu has found a kill, and it's a gem on the deck, and Staking is going to back away. Ritsu will drop the TP. No, Brax will grab the gem for himself. Meanwhile, the base is dying back at home. Tier 4 is going to get hit up a little bit, but they do get the gem, so I think this is it's an alright solid pickup coming up for Shazam.
Yep, they're pretty happy about that. It's only support, but anything they can get helps, and it'll give them a bit of map control, and actually a lot of map control when it comes to the gem. If Brax can move around killing all of the wards wherever they stand, then they can actually have a much higher chance of getting pickoffs that are going to go in their favor.
It's not easy to get out of base, though. They did a good job there. I'm not even sure if they smoked up. I didn't even see it come. So that's pretty surprising. They could just buy another gem on the POF side, though. Right, Reaver's 3,000. Where is the Gyrocopter? How much does he have? He's actually just under 300 away from his Satanic. And also, Roche is going to respawn roughly right about now. There's a side trap in there, which they will not be able to kill. They don't have any detection, not that I know of. They'll wait Roche out. Maybe you can smoke up and try to force a fight here for Shazam. I'm not sure if you can really give away an Aegis at this point.
It's really scary for both teams, actually. I think Shazam would be really happy with the two. Jump in with like TA, try to kill a support, and then respawn afterwards with a BKB. That provides a huge issue for POF to deal with. Same with Shazam, if they have to force Reaper Scythe on somebody, or kill them first and then Reaper Scythe afterwards when they respawn, then that's going to make it so much more difficult to deal with those heroes.
Roche is facing away. He doesn't want to look out into the world, he'd rather look into his pit. God. Send the Hawk over, get some vision. Smoke from one side probably going to come out here. They have one for Mario, so they definitely are setting something up. They're all grouping up. On the other side, the three heroes that aren't going to get relocated and can smoke up, do they have one? No. So that's not going to work out. The smoke does come through for POF. They're maybe either going to head into Roche, which there is a side trap in there, or they're going to look for a kill, and in which case they'd have to go high ground right now and walk uphill, which they don't want to do. Ritsu is melded up. They don't have a gem. There's one in Brax. He's in the tree line, so they'll drop down a ward, and if they see Shazam coming, it's all hands on deck.
We got Frost Armor as well. That'll be a big deal against TA. Counteracts her Desolator.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. Uh-oh, they're going right into Mason. There's the BKB. Snaky pops his off as well. Brax didn't even do anything before he gets static from up. Here comes
pretty good for Shazam.
Then he got the Death Ward. There's the Hand of God. They haven't used the Mech kit. There's the Guardian Greaves coming through. Roy's now still in trouble. The active and they've just lost everything. They don't have the BKBs ready. They could not withstand the fight. Brax just went to work, or rather Snaky did, and they get 5 dead, and that is it. GG is called. Just like that.
They were a little closer. That could have been the pick that won them the game. I mean, the BKB on Snaking lasted just long enough, and Mason was about to throw the ult as soon as the BKB ended, but he started getting chain stun, and at that point, fight was over. If he would have been able to stay alive, they could have done something, but they did a great job considering how one-sided the kill score was. Like, Shazam actually almost came back into this game. They almost started their comeback is probably the right way to say it. I think they played a very good game for how far behind they were almost the entire game.
And that's a huge win, too, for Power of Friendship. It keeps them alive here in this group. And it'll put them up to 4 points right now.